Ladies and gentlemen, pray silence. The father of the bride, Brian.
Please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, when I was putting this together, I didn't think I'd have much to say and much to put. Once I got to 52 pages, I changed my font size. If anybody asks, I am standing up. Now, I've 1.5 years to put this together, and I got it off a website this morning while I was doing my online shopping. Like to say good afternoon to everybody. I'm Brian, probably better known as Helen's dad. I understand it falls to me to do the opening speech and figure that if I do a poor job, it only helps Matthew, Simon and Patrick to follow up. In fact, they've actually given me a £5 each. I'll begin by welcoming you all today and saying a big thank you for taking the time and effort to celebrate the happy couple's big occasion. I hope you all have a great time throughout the day. I'm not going to try and embarrass the couple, but I have tried to imagine their first encounter and figured it would go something like this. Set the scene, it's late one night, soft music, romance is in the air, and they stood there facing each other, Helen looking deep into Simon's eyes, and Simon gazing back longingly, each moving a little closer. They each seemed to know what each other was thinking. And then Helen muttered those first 3 memorable words. Fancy a curry? I believe it now is customary to spend some time talking about the qualities of our new son-in-law, Simon. And I did have 2 pages, but I'm sorry, I can't read his writing. But we are so proud to welcome him. Regarding Helen, what can I say? A kind of moody and demanding baby, but she has grown into a lovely, personable lady who has exceeded all expectations. She's chirpy, wacky, hard-working and full of love and life. I'd also like to spare a thought for those people who cannot be with us today. Helen's mum and Simon's nan. They would have been so proud. Simon?
Yes?
An officer called Phil. Who wrote that? Sorry, a Phil officer. A man who gives in when he's wrong is a wise man. And a few phrases that have and still do serve me. You were always right, love. I was wrong. Okay, just buy it. Helen, please never start a sentence, can you just? Just ask Simon, he's a man and hints won't work. I would like now to welcome all the family and Simon's family, and how proud we are to have Simon as a son-in-law. And what an honour it has been today to walk down the aisle for us to be part of this wonderful day, and wish you all the very best for the future. It is now my great pleasure to propose the first toast to the happy couple. Please be upstanding and raise your glasses to the bride and groom. Turn it and sweet. I don't believe that we've conformed to, because I didn't know and I'm sorry, the wedding present type thing, so we've actually brought presents. So I would suggest that I hand it over right now, or we hand it over right now, if that's okay before we move on. Yeah? Christian? Lloyd?
Walk slowly.
I've been worried all day about the lack of presents that's around. I've just been told everybody's.
Go on line of girls. See, I thought that was us then, I'm thinking, that's not us.
I'll have it cheap.
That's lovely, thank you. Well, right, let's put that to them though. Yeah,
Maltese. There's your
Did you get that now? Any orders, Liz? Look, your bet comes second to this, alright? Oh yeah, tell me to open, but take your time, it's 48 minutes.
It's allowed to somebody who's got a long time.
have a time check?
Oh, thank you. I think so, yeah. Thank you very much. Where's the bed? Oh,
2 minutes after this bit.
Some dogs?
And some dogs, thank you.
thank you. That's lovely, thank you. Oh. Hang on a minute.
I thought you could have found a new one.
Oh.
Austin Powers.
Turn it round there.
Just tell Daddy what you just said.
Oh wow. Awesome.
Hang on a minute. That, it's the helicopter. Just a minute. Thanks so much. I'm not missing you out. You were like,
It's alright.
right.
You can't take that case on, do you?
I don't know actually. Do you think that's more likely to get us upgraded or not?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think you're the
Thank
queen.
you. Lovely, thank you.
Sorry, I didn't come phone, guys.
No. We were told, to be honest.
I've got to about 11 o'clock about the lack of presents, and I'm thinking that
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could ask for silence again, please. The Groom song.
I hope you're all settled in. Right, okay. Thank you, Brian, for such kind words, and thanks to all of you for being here today to share such a special day with us. To begin with, I'd like to take a moment to remember those who are sadly no longer with us and are unable to witness the joy of this day, a joy which I know they would always have wished for us. My Nan Joyce was one of the first to learn and congratulate us on our engagement, and always spoke excitedly of our wedding day whenever it was mentioned. I know she thought a lot of Helen and would be so proud to see us both as man and wife. And Helen's mum, Jenny. I was never fortunate enough to have met Jenny, but I have it on good authority that she would have quite liked me, although I'm told I would have undoubtedly earned many clips around the ear roll so far. However, they say that if you want to know what a girl will turn out like, take a look at her mother. Well, if Helen is anything to go by, Jenny can only have been the kindest, most caring and most selflessly loving mother and wife anyone could wish for. I can only hope she would have been as proud of me as a son-in-law as Brian attests to being. And all I can say is I won't let you down. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glasses in a toast to our remembered loved ones. There's tissues here. Moving on. On behalf of my new wife and I would first like to thank my mum and dad, Catherine and Jeff, and Helen's parents, Brian and Claire, for their unwavering support and advice through what has proven to be one of the most stressful and arduous things Helen has ever had to organise. When tasks have seemed impossible, they've always been there to share in the strain. When aspirations have run wild, they've always been there to provide balance and perspective. Thank you all so much for all the help you've given, all your help in giving us such a perfect day. Would the mums please accept these flowers as a small token of our appreciation? I'll just bit closer. There you go.
And I won't tell that where to go, so that was...
Thank you. Not finished yet, not finished yet. I would also like to take this opportunity to recognise what fantastic parents Catherine and Jeff have been to me over the last 28 years. Mum and Dad. Thank you for the opportunities you've given me, for the lessons you've taught me, and for the morals you've instilled within me. I'm sure I wasn't the easiest son to parent and probably showed little evidence of learning much at the time, but I know that in all I do, I look to my experiences as a child and to all that you've taught me for the inspiration and reassurances to guide me in making the right choices. I hope that in choosing Helen and Alfie as your daughter-in-law and grandson have helped bring new levels of joy to your lives. I particularly want to thank you for your guidance and support when with raising Alfie. I'm frequently told that parenting is not an exact science, especially when committing to the responsibility of raising someone else's child, and it has undoubtedly been the most challenging task I've ever faced in my life so far. But it's also one of the most rewarding experiences in so many unexpected ways, and I can't thank you enough for all your help and advice along the way. You've made me the man I am today, and I hope you're as proud of me as I am of Alfie. They say you never stop being a parent, and for this I'm forever grateful, especially on this day, when I could not be more proud to call you my parents. Thank you. Please raise your glasses in a toast to Catherine and Jeff.
Catherine and Jeff.
We'll have a picture. One down. To Helen's parents, Brian, Claire and Jenny, I want to thank you for raising such a wonderful daughter and for welcoming me into your family to share in all that you do. I've always felt I could turn to you for help and support, and you've always been patient and diplomatic when listening to my worries and eccentricities. Most importantly, you've always made me feel part of your family, and for this I'm eternally grateful. I feel very proud to be able to say that I'm your son-in-law and will always do my best to live up to your expectations and promise to take care of Helen as long as she doesn't start to think that her wedding ring buys her any more right to an opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glasses to the parents of the bride. Right. This brings me to my beautiful wife, Helen. You look amazing, simply stunning. All right? Believe me. I can't tell you just how proud I am to finally be able to call you my wife. It's been a long time coming. I first met Helen when she started working at Express Blinds, and we hit it off as friends from the start. She was a fun person to be around and had the knack of instantly cheering up the glummest of rooms with a relentlessly cheery disposition. After a few months of knowing each other, we grew closer as friends and eventually went on a few dates, maybe to the cinema or perhaps a restaurant. But most memorable are the evenings at Helen's house when I would say I was going home at 8 or 9, and we'd still be talking on the hallway floor at 2 a.m. I was enraptured by her infectious personality and positive spin on life, and I'd fallen hopelessly in love. It wasn't long before I realised she was so much more than just the best friend I'd ever known. We just clicked, and for all our differences, we got along so naturally and complemented each other so perfectly, like the missing piece in a puzzle, sitting so snugly next to me, together completing such a wonderful and vivid picture that individually we couldn't even hint at. We're not domesticated or organised, and we're certainly never on time for anything. Honestly, I'm surprised we're even here now. But I've never had so much fun. Everything we do is an adventure, and we have a good laugh along the way. This enjoyment is more important to me than any amount of domestication, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. After a couple of years, I became aware of the significance of what we had together, and I knew I didn't want it to end. It was clear that Helen was the one, and I wanted to make a commitment to her and to tell the world how much she meant to me. So I hatched half a plan in my head and set about stage one, Operation Ask Brian. I'll always remember the evening when I asked him for his daughter's hand in marriage. We were all at a gathering for Claire's birthday, and I found myself trying to awkwardly start a conversation away from everyone else without being noticed. I was pretty sure by that point that Brian thought I was quite a nice guy, but all I could think was that if I got it wrong, it can run pretty fast for a little bit. But when I finally found the courage to steer the subject toward marrying Helen, I was struck by how comfortable he was with the idea. There was no shotgun and no conditions attached, and that meant a lot. For once in my life, I felt I was doing something right. The plan was a go. So I booked front row seats for an intimate Jamie Cullum concert, scraped some money together for a ring, and she said yes in the howling wind and rain on Saturday the 2nd of November 2013 in the Sheffield Peace Gardens. That simple word marks the beginning of an epic journey together that has reached its highest peak so far on this day. But this is not an end, it's a new beginning to the best adventure of our lives, and one I'm so excited to embark on with my new family. So Helen, it's time for me to thank you. It's time for me to tell you that I love you more than ever. You are my world. I also want to say thank you. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for being my best friend. Thank you for your unwavering love and devotion, even through the tough times. Thank you for being so unreservedly supportive, even when I'm hopelessly and pathetically feeling sorry for myself, in a Dale sulk, or crying like a baby. Thank you for giving me a family to protect and nurture and to learn from. Thank you for all the rubbish jokes and the priceless one-liners, such as, which animal does pork come from? I want to say pig, but I know it's not. And my new favourite from yesterday morning, stop it, you look like the abdominal snowman. In fact, to cut a lot of long stories short, here are just a few of the very brief thank yous I care to mention. Thank you for the I love yous, the post-it notes, the hot meals, the cold camping trips, the bikini moments, the no bikini moments, the date nights, the film nights, the late nights, the early nights, the road trips, the shopping trips, the soft smiles, the hard truths, the long hugs, the short glances, the teary moments, the handholds, the casual kisses, the near misses, the waiting rooms, and the 1,000 used perfume tester strips we always end up having to hide when leaving Debenhams. None of those moments would be the same without you. Now, just in case anyone feels that no great speech is complete without the obligatory cliched quotation, Ronald Reagan once said, there is no greater happiness for a man than approaching a door at the end of the day, knowing someone on the other side of that door is waiting for the sound of his footsteps. Well, I know that whatever the day, wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, and whoever I'm with, I can't wait to see that door at the end of the day, knowing you behind it. We make a fantastic team, and we're going to conquer the world together. Helen, I love you more than you'll ever know, in ways I could never begin to adequately express. Thank you for the last 5 years. Here's to the rest. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glasses in a toast to my wonderful wife Helen. My wonderful life. Who wouldn't want it? I'd now like to give special thanks to my best man, Matthew. Despite the relentless workload of running more companies than I have fingers to count on, you've done an excellent job as best man and really came through where it counts most. Of course, I'm talking about my stag do. You did an admirable job in somehow bringing so many people together for such a fantastic weekend. I believe the phrase you chose was, like herding cats. For those of you who don't know, we went to Nottingham, and for legal reasons, that's about all I can tell you. I managed to come through it remarkably unscathed, though, and with comparatively little humiliation, so for that, I also thank you. You're also doing a great job today with crowd control, keeping Patrick away from the bridesmaids, and generally bringing a new level of importance to the day. I also think you deserve special praise for putting up with my perpetual state of indecision, and for managing to avoid doing any office work today. It's okay. I knew that last part probably wouldn't be true when I wrote this speech, so if you've had to be involved in work today and are somehow shielding me from it, just know that it wasn't me, Jake did it, and it was like that when I got there. On a more serious note, thank you for being a fantastic brother to me. I know we rarely see eye to eye on most things, and I've always had our differences as brothers do. But you've always looked after me, and I know you would do anything for me if it came down to it. And I hope you know that I would do the same for you if you ever stop being so stubborn and ask for help. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glasses in a toast to my brother, the best man, Matthew. We're getting there, not much further. Stay with me. Just want to say a huge thank you to Patrick for agreeing to be part of our day. Aside from Helen, you're my best friend, and I couldn't have had you sitting in the sidelines. As my usher, you are doing a fantastic job of ushing, and never have there been clearer announcements made. But don't get complacent, though. You're not done yet. There's a car park full of evening guests who need to find the chapel yet, so don't get drunk either. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glasses to the number one usher and master of ceremonies, Patrick. Next, I would like to say a huge thank you to the bridesmaids and for all your help with the preparations, for keeping Helen's nerves calm, and for making sure she found her way to the ceremony on time. You all look absolutely stunning, and are a credit to yourselves and to Helen as loyal friends. You okay?
Yeah, we're just in a moment.
I'll read that bit again, just in case you missed it. You all look absolutely stunning, and are a credit to yourselves and to Helen as loyal friends. I hope you'll continue to support her through married life, and to take her out now and again to give me a break. As a small token of our appreciation, I hope you'll enjoy the jewellery you're wearing, and let it remind you of this happy day and the fantastic jobs you've all done. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glasses to the bridesmaids. I'd also like to give an extra special mention to the chief bridesmaid, Sally, who was given up practically half her house space to innumerable decorations and materials, not to mention the mess of hosting numerous decoration planning gatherings, and all the while providing enough food and refreshments for a small army. Sally, please accept these flowers as a token of our gratitude. Lovely. I'll run round.
Thank you.
Thank you. And to finish that bit, please raise your glasses for Sally. Sally. Finally, I'd like to thank our page boy and flower girl, Alfie and Chloe. You've both been superb every step of the way. I hope you're having fun today and that you haven't found my super long speech too boring snoring. So in addition to your colouring packs, we have another small gift for each of you to say a big thank you for your help. Would you like to pass the gifts along? This is from us. It's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise this is the last time. Please raise your glasses to Alfie and Chloe. Alfie and Chloe. Thank you all, and please enjoy the rest of your day. I can assure you there's a lot more to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to initially thank Simon on behalf of the bridesmaids for his kind words. I couldn't agree more that the three of them look absolutely stunning, particularly the chief bridesmaid. Who, in line with tradition, I'm looking forward to trying my luck with later on. When anyone is asked to be someone's best man, it's always an honour. But when Simon asked me to be his, I was genuinely honoured and surprised. It's a big responsibility, which I've tried to do my best to do as well as I could, and to do him proud. And I hope he feels that I have, as he is under the impression that sometimes I only think of myself. To which I say, that what? Being Simon's older brother, I've known him his entire life, and like most brothers, we either hated each other or were best friends. Growing up, there were a few things that clearly shaped our relationship and have been a strong influence. Number one, my mum always has and always will run a tight ship, which is why we like to now affectionately refer to it as Cath Camp. This often involved ensuring that we tidied up after ourselves, because, as some of you may be aware, Mum likes a tidy house. Number 2, we've always been fond of computers and computer games. And number 3, Simon can occasionally be a little indecisive. Looking back over our childhood, I'll never forget one hot summer where, whilst at home, Mum and Dad opened all the doors to the back of the house. We were spending the day in the garden and conservatory with friends and neighbours. At the end of the day, everyone had gone home. Simon had been sent upstairs to have a shower, get ready for bed. Whilst upstairs, Mum and Dad were tidying the house, closing all the doors. I was told to go and put toys back in the garage. Cath camp. When all of a sudden, we heard a loud bang and Simon crying. We all ran towards the noise and found a completely naked 8-year-old Simon laying on the floor in the living room. He'd run downstairs to ask where his pyjamas were, and due to my mother's immaculately clean windows, subsequently bounced off the now closed patio door. Simon.
Leave the floor. Genuinely hurt.
Simon spent a lot of his youth in his own little world. We often laughed at his expense when travelling with the caravan or on holidays. A member of the family would spot an owl or a kestrel, point out to everyone else in the car. Simon would quite often miss this sighting and declare, "Where?" Roughly a mile down the road. I previously mentioned that Simon is indecisive. This would probably be most evident in the Design Your Own t-shirt kit, which Simon still has 8 years after buying. The kit is still a plain white t-shirt, which he has yet to make a decision on the design. Or, when he was little, rather than saying he didn't like mushrooms, he would declare he wasn't keen, which meant Mum had to rename lasagna to Desperate Down Pie so he'd eat it. Depending on the circumstances, we were more often than not thick as thieves. Simon would often come to me for help when we had done something wrong, whether we'd managed to get silly putty on the carpet or chipped an ornament, or managed to drop about half the baubles off the Christmas tree while we were out on our own. Good times. In fact, it was our joint love of computers which meant that 3 years ago, Simon came to me looking for a job, just to tide him over while he decided what it was he wanted to do with his life. Simon still hasn't decided what it is he wants to do, and he's still working with me. And I can tell you all, Simon wouldn't be where he is right now without me. However, I can honestly tell you, Simon, that I won't be where I am without you.
He's going.
Air conditioning.
I'm coming towards the end of my official duties as best man, which on one hand is a massive relief, but on the other is a real disappointment, because I don't really think I could ever feel as proud as I've done today. And felt so utterly terrified at the same time. Where are we? However, I thank you both for allowing me to play such a wonderful part in a wonderful day. Every man hopes to find the perfect woman, and Simon has been besotted with Ellen since the day they got together. Their relationship is based on love and sometimes weirdness. but they are perfect for each other. However, it's Simon's relationship with Alfie which makes me most proud of him. He's embraced the best and sometimes worst parts of helping raising a child, and together Simon and Helen make a fantastic partnership. I know there are two people in particular who would have loved to be with us today, but no longer can be. Both Helen's mother Jenny and Simon's nan and Joyce would have been so proud to see this loving couple seal their love in this wonderful way. Both would have really enjoyed the spectacle that is today and would have given every blessing to the both of you. On this note, can I ask you to raise a glass to both Jenny and Joyce? Helen, as I'm sure everyone will agree, you look absolutely stunning today. You're a beautiful, caring, loving person. Your delightful personality, glorious smile, generous nature and caring warmth are just some of the many reasons why Simon should consider himself the luckiest man in the world. On that note, I'd like to propose a toast to the bride and groom. May today be the beginning of a wonderful new and long-lasting chapter in their lives, and may they always love, honour and cherish each other, just as they do today. To Mr. and Mrs. Dale. Now I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Patrick Beaumont.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little speechless after that. Which is not so great in my current position. I don't believe that my role in a wedding normally entails a speech, but Simon insisted on it. Thank you. He did attach some conditions that I write something down, and I failed to do that, but I think I've got some stuff in mind. Me and Simon have been friends for quite some years now. You may remember better than me. But our friendship hasn't always been the greatest, and there was a period a few years ago where we didn't really speak anymore, and we drifted apart for various reasons. And if it wasn't for the actions of the good lady there, we probably might not be friends today. And I think that speaks volumes about the woman that he's found. That, you know, despite barely knowing me, she could see how important I was to Simon and put the effort in to bring us back together. And I'm very grateful she did that, even though I may not have showed that all the way through the groom's duties that we were fulfilling for you. There may have been a few hungover Saturdays where I had to go for suit fittings rather grudgingly. Under that grumbling, tired, bleary-eyed exterior, there was a man who really cared about what you were doing, and I'm fantastically proud of what you've achieved with this day, and just really grateful to have been a part of it, and not just to have been a part of today, but to be a part of the love that you have, because you're not selfish with your love for each other. You share it, sometimes awkwardly and embarrassingly in public. You know, whether you like it or not, you're all a part of your relationship. And I think that's a very beautiful thing, and you enrich everyone's lives with it. You make all our existences better for the love that you share. And I don't think that love comes from nowhere. I think it comes from the fantastic families around you, and I felt incredibly welcomed by both of them over the years. You know, Uncle Jeffy, Auntie Cat, Uncle Bri.
It's the anti-bride.
And that's what I would like to propose, possibly the final toast to of this meal, to the love in this room.
To the love in this
Love
room.
in this room. Thank you.
Who won that one?
35 minutes.
You want paid? Well, when Jenny
pays is 35.30.
Rounded up, that's 36.
No,
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 rounded
you
down, it's
down.
35.
Come on, Catherine. 35. 35 minutes, please.
As it happens, we've got nobody on 36, so we'll have to go to 35.
So the winner is?
So it'll be Jenny, but she's not paid.
Oh,
So it goes to Alison. Alison